Happy Halloween. I'm going to read you a scary part of the Declaration of Independence. I'm reading it from this book, but you can probably find it lots of places, okay? Now, the Declaration of Independence is already read to you by me on this channel in 2 different videos. One with the grievances of the people, and just one without it. So today, I'm going to read you just the grievances of the people of what reign of terror they were under that compelled them to their separation to dissolve the political bands that connected them on July 4th, 1776, and in a unanimous declaration of the 13 states of America. So I'm not going to read them in order. I'm just going to read them, okay? This is what, okay, this was the history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, having in all direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states, and to prove this, let the facts be submitted to the candid world. This is the scary stuff he did, in no particular order. How about this one? He plundered our seas, ravaged our coasts, burnt our towns, and destroyed our lives. How about that? No shit. Okay. He has abdicated government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging war against us. How about that? Scary shit. Okay. He has constrained our fellow citizens taken captive on the high seas to bear arms against their country and to become executioner of their friends and brethren, or to fall themselves by their hands. Now that's really scary for me, because last Thanksgiving I spent Thanksgiving with a murderer. And I wonder if he's one of these people that was taken captive on the high seas to bear arms against their country and become an executioner of their friends. That's fucking scary shit, right? Okay. How about this one? He is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the works of death, desolation, and tyranny, already begun with circumstances of cruelty, perfidy, scarcely paralleled in most barbarous ages. He is totally unworthy of the head of a civilized nation. That's pretty scary fucking shit. You know what else he did? He combined with others to subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretended legislation. It's just a pretend. They're playing patty cake, pretend. Because he was quartering large bodies of armed troops among us. He was protecting them with mock trials from punishment for any murders which they should commit on the inhabitants of these states, for cutting off our trade with all parts of the world, for imposing taxes on us without our consent, for depriving us in many cases of the benefits of trial by jury, for transporting us beyond the seas to be tried for pretended offenses, for abolishing the free system of English laws in neighboring province and establishing therein an arbitrary government, and enlarging its boundaries so as to render it at once an example and fit instrument for introduction to the same absolute rule into the colonies. For taking away our charters, abolishing our most valuable laws, and altering fundamentally the form of our government, and for suspending our own legislatures and declaring themselves invested with power to legislate for us in all cases. He rendered the military independent of and superior to the civil power. He kept among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of our legislatures. He erected a multitude of new offices and sent swarms. You're live.
All right.
He has called the legislative bodies out of places that were unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of the public records for the sole purpose of just fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. He refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislature, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained, and when so suspended he has utterly neglected to attend to them. He refused to assent to laws most wholesome and necessary to the public good. He has excited domestic insurrections among us and has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers the merciless Indian savages whose known rule of warfare is an undistinguished destruction of all ages, sexes, and conditions. In every stages of these oppressions, we petition for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury, and a prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of the people. Nor have we been... Hopefully that's the whole sentence, because this book might be half the shit. It starts off with, nor have we been wanting in our attentions to the British brethren. Period. Doesn't seem like a whole sentence. Okay. We have warned them from time to time of attempts by their legislature to extend an unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. We have reminded them of the circumstances of our emigration and settled here. We have appealed to their native justice and magnanimity. We have conjured them by the ties of our common kindred to disavow these usurpations which would inevitably interrupt our connections and correspondence. They, too, have been deaf to the voice of justice and consanguinity. We must therefore acquiesce in the necessity which denounce our separation and hold them as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war. In peace, we're friends.